made it sound like it was a good thing.
Good. Compared to what?
Well, the manager did say that they hadn't had a play performed here in a couple months. No, he seemed to mean it like that.
Play. The Count of Monte Cristo, starring James O'Neill. A play. Shall be lucky we decided to stop in this speck of a town.
I have been working.
I've seen your brother. You better be in the theater.
I think he went down the street. Something to settle his stomach.
I bet.
We were out pretty late last night. You would know.
You don't see me complaining about my stomach running down the street now, do you? Ha! Iron constitution. Never let it affect your performance.
I'm sure Jim is back by now.
A professional. 40 years in the theater. Top of my game.
That's why I brought you a new script.
There's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new worth my time.
I wrote it myself.
You wrote it.
Yeah, I wrote it with you in mind. I thought of you for the lead.
A play? Not a morbid poem or a knockoff newspaper story?
No, it's a play. Wow. It's a short play. It's a showcase. For a star. Shows dramatic talent.
Let's see it. Where's the title?
Well, it doesn't have one yet. You see, I think the title is a very important thing to consider. Well, nothing's come to me.
What's the name of this role you have in mind for me? I would think that if it was the lead, it would be at the top, but I only see the words, the older man.
The older man is the lead.
You need to tell me the lead character in this play is a man who does not have a name.
Well, I figured that if the play is about him, he doesn't need a name. He knows who he is. The world of the story circulates around him. The others are only acting in his story. He knows his own name, so it doesn't have to be said.
The others will need to say it. The audience will need to hear his name to know who he is, and the more often they hear his name, the more important they will know he is.
But the story, it's his story, told from his experience. He knows his name, doesn't need to hear it because it's told from his point of view.
Nonsense. The story is always the audience's story. If they don't know the names of the characters, they won't understand the story, and more importantly, they won't see themselves in the story. They want to escape. They want to see themselves as the hero. The audience desires to be entertained, and there's no greater entertainment than spending an evening staring at yourself.
I agree that men want to be the hero, but I have a different idea of what a hero is. A hero is not someone who wins a fight with someone else. A hero is someone who faces his fears, does battle with himself. He's not trying to escape himself because, well, he knows he can't. So he bravely faces himself.
The prodigal son has returned. I hope you didn't miss me too much.
Your brother told me you left the theater. I strictly forbade you leaving the building this close to curtain.
Judas. I stepped outside for a few minutes to get some air. The windows in this drafty dump don't even open in our overpopulated dressing room.
I don't pay you to breathe. I pay you to be at the theater, know your lines, and remember all your entrances.
Which I have faithfully done for many years.
The only fidelity you demonstrate is to the brothel and the bottle.
Oh, yes. You know so little about bottles.
I am a professional. I know my lines, I know where my light is. And if I happen to empty a glass every once in a while, it is well earned. Unlike some!
Perhaps. Better get dressed, Jim.
Yes. Do your job. We have an audience that's counting on us.
I always do my job at slave wages. Mama's favorite, Papa's pet.
Your brother will never forgive himself for not being born the son of a Maharaja.
You were looking at my script?
Let's see. Scene. The edge of the Arizona desert, a plain, dotted on the foreground with clumps of sagebrush. On the horizon, a lonely butte is outlined, black, sinister, against the lighter darkness of a sky with stars. How is the butte lonely exactly, let alone sinister? It's the setting for the play. It's a piece of earth, a rock.
The description's meant to establish the world in which the story takes place.
A rock.
No, it's more than a rock. It's a psychological space. It reflects the world of the older man, how he feels, how we're meant to feel as the audience.
But the audience will not be reading your script now, will they? They won't know it's a sinister romp. They'll see the beaut, but there's no way they'll be feeling what you imagine the old man might be feeling.
Maybe just skip down to the start of the dialogue.
Let's see. In the foreground stands a ragged tent, the flap of which is open. Leaning against it are some shovels and a pick or two. Two saddles lay on the ground nearby. For the tent is a smoldering campfire. Are you sure you're not writing a novel here?
Look, I want to represent the real lives of people, so I included a realistic description of the setting.
A sinister beaut notwithstanding.
Please! Skip the introduction.
He is wearing a miner's costume. Flannel shirt, khaki trousers, high boots, etc. All patched. And showing evidences of long wear and tear. His wide-brimmed Stetson hat lays on the ground beside him. His hair is turning gray, and his face is the face of a man who has wandered far, lived hard, seen life in the rough, and is a little weary of it all. I wonder what could be taking him so long. Hello, Jack. I was just beginning to think you got lost.
Hey, Jack, it's me.
Hello, Pete. What brings you out here so late at night?
I was just leaving the house and when the operator. When the operator stopped me and give me this for Jack, I seen your campfire burning and reckon I'll bring it right over.
Many thanks, Pete. Care to sit and rest a bit?
I'm much obliged, but I reckon I'll travel along. I ain't slept none to speak of in the last few nights, and I gotta be up at sunrise. That fool town of Lawson sure does keep you up nights. Clean, panning out as good as ever?
Better every day. This morning we took a sample from the upper end, which we haven't touched so far. It looks good, but we haven't panned it yet.
You alls ought to get rich. You know how to keep money. Now me and money could never get on, no way. They cleaned me out in Lawson this time, and I reckon they'll clean me again the next time. Cities as sure as hell that way. Cities as sure as hell that way. See you at Elliot's. Adios!
Good night! Poor old Pete. Same story. Been bucking the faro bank again, I suppose. Now, I wonder what this could be. Jack's had no correspondence in the 5 years I've been with him. Maybe something important in connection with the mine. I am waiting. Come. No name signed. Comes from New York, too. Well, I give up. Fool operator must have gotten mixed up in his names again. Sure would hate to see Jack obey that kind of summons. Would like to see him leave, just to be striking rich. If only the upper end of the claim was as rich as that we've been working. Here he is now. Welcome, wanderer. Where you been all this time?
Oh, one of the horses slipped his hobbles. I had quite a hunt for him. I finally found him down by the spring. He was wallowing around as if water was the commonest thing in this section of Arizona. Old beast.
It's a strange thing we should run into water out here where the maps say there isn't any. That's one blessing we found in this land God forgot. We're fools for luck for once.
Yes, but we have small cause to kick about this lonely hole after all. Any place is God's country to a man if there's gold in it and he finds it. There's gold here and we found it. So, long live the desert, say I.
Those are my sentiments. It sure does seem as if our ship has come in here in this rim of the world. Our luck was due to change. We had our share of the bad variety, just missing a strike in every jumping off place from South Africa to Alaska. Taking our hard knocks. Come away with the imitation of a laugh, at any rate. Along the way, we become good pals. Ever since that day in the Transvaal when you hauled me out of the river, saved my life.
No, I didn't do anything.
No, you needn't try to stop me expressing my gratitude. I haven't forgotten that day, and I never will.
I'm gonna go see what that prospect we took at the other end of the claim looks like. What do you think of that?
Of course, gold, just as I expected. The upper end of that claim sure does seem as rich as that we've been doing down here.
No, there's over a quarter of an ounce here, at least. That's $5 a pan. Well, it's better than we ever panned down here at any time since we made the strike 4 months ago. I'll tell you, this claim is too much for us to handle alone. One of us ought to go east. Organize a company.
That'll have to be you. I'm too old. Besides, I never could get along with civilization, and civilization never cared over much for me either. You sure have been hankering for the East quite a bit these last few months. Get tired of the company out here?
No, you know that isn't so. After all these years, we've been pals. All we've been through together.
So, what is the attraction the effete East has to offer? Must be a woman, I suppose.
An angel, rather.
They're all angels, at least at first. Trouble is their angelic attributes lack stable qualities. That's been my experience.
Well, you're a disgusting cynic. I refuse to argue. You know we've never been able to agree on that subject. You know, I'm going to hunt out that bottle we've carried about so long. Yeah, we'll drink to the mine and future prosperity. I think this is a proper occasion for a celebration. The two prodigals welcome the fatted cat. Let's make it a christening also. Here's to the Yvette mine.
Why the Yvette?
Oh, I know. Sounds like rather a frivolous name for a mine, but I have a hunch. There's a romance back of it. It's my romance. One rarely speaks of such things. That was a name, but I never told you. I will now, if you care to hear. See, it was a year before I met you. I was just out of mining school, a short time, was prospecting around the mountains of Peru, hoping to hit a bonanza there. I'd returned to re-out a small mining camp near the frontier of Ecuador. It was there I met her. Now, she was the wife of a broken-down mining engineer from the States, over 20 years her senior. According to all accounts, he was a drunken brute. Left her alone most of the time, only lived from one drug to another. I never saw him. It's probably better that I didn't. You see, I fell in love with her on the spot. The thought of how he treated her, well, it made my blood boil.
What was the name of that mining town you mentioned? I've been in that country myself many years ago.
It was San Sebastian. You know?
Yeah. I know it. Go on.
Oh, I loved her. In the corrupt environment of a mining camp, she seemed like a lily, growing in a field of rank weeds. I longed to take her away from all that sordid sin and suffering, away from her beast of a husband, who was steadily ruining that beautiful young life and driving her to desperation. I overstayed my time. I should have been back in the mountains. I went to see her often. He was always away, it seemed. But finally, people began to talk, and I realized time had come. And I told her that I loved her. I shall never forget her face. She looked at me with great, calm eyes, but her lips trembled as she said, I know you love me, and I love you. But you must go away. We must never see each other again. I'm his wife, and I must keep my pledge.
You lie!
I didn't write that. I wrote that he reaches for his gun, not draws it.
The play is set in America, is it not?
Yes,
The American West is known for guns. Your audience will be expecting you to settle disputes with a gun in hand. And as the saying goes, religion settled the East and the West was won with a gun. And in between they have both. You must give the audience what they want.
No, that's not what I'm trying to do.
Oh, come on. The audience is trying to escape the hardship of their lives at the theater. Outside the theater, too, if they can get away with it.
Well, I'm not interested in giving them what they want. They can find that around every corner. I want to give them what they need. Reality, on stage, lets them know, not alone in their struggles. Others share the feelings that they battle with.
Are you writing this for them or for yourself? If for yourself, just go write a poem in your journal and leave the theater to those of us who understand what people want.
Well, I want people to wake up, face themselves so they can be clear-eyed and live more honestly. Now, please, go back to the script, back to You Lie, but without the gun.
Sounds like you want to write a pamphlet, not a play.
I want to write life as it is.
We have Shakespeare for that. Behold, as 'twere a mirror, up to nature.
No, real life, not rhyming couplets. The inner struggles, the guilt, the fear, the hypocrisy, the difference between what we think and what we say and what we do, about how lost we all feel. It's the lying to ourselves. It festers day by day until it kills us. There is nobility in the struggle to lift ourselves out of the gutter of our fears, and the bravery is in facing all of this and recognizing that life is dirty, it's a twisted thing, lying in a puddle of its own vomit. And if we face it, it won't kill us, it will make us stronger.
Morbid filth! A poor imitation of your deranged and inebriated, godless, poetic heroes destined to be found dead in an opium den or at the end of a rope! Lad, if you seek to lift up others, you must look up. If not to God, then to stories with characters better than ourselves. If only to imagine something better. We must offer hope. Remember, we are Irish. And the Irish may expect tragedy, but they still want hope. They still want to sing and dance, even in the face of loss. You are Irish, always will be. You can run away from it. It'll always be here waiting for you. You must find the joy. Reach for something better. You will touch it.
Yes, I agree. Reaching. It matters. Now can we go back to my script? Back to You Lie, but without the gun.
Yes, lad. You lie!
What? What do you mean? What is it?
Nothing. My nerves, I suppose. It's my sore spot. The virtue of women. I've seen a little of it in my mining camp experience, and your heroine seems to me to be too good to be true.
You wouldn't think so if you could have seen it. Hughie, here's a picture she sent me a year ago. Look at it. Now you think that a woman with a face like that could be the regular mining camp kind? Oh, almost forgot.
My wife. She has not changed. She has not changed.
Changed? Who? Do you know her?
No, of course not. She just reminds me of a girl I once knew in the States. She must be an old woman by now. I forget my gray hairs.
Oh, Yvette is only 25. See, her parents were poor French people. And in a fit of mistaken zeal for her welfare, they forced her to marry this man when she was too young to know her own mind. Now, they thought they were making an excellent match, but immediately after the marriage, he dragged her off to San Sebastian, where he was half owner of a small mine. It seems the devil broke out in him before they were hardly settled there. Look, I'd like to be fair to him. Maybe he realized she could never love him. He's trying to drown the memory of his mistake. He must have loved her in his fashion.
Yes. He must have loved her in his fashion.
I have proof positive of her innocence and noble-mindedness. Here is a letter which she wrote and sent to me the morning I was leaving. It's only a few words. Read it, Mr. Doubting Thomas.
It's her writing. I must keep my oath. He needs me and I must stay. To be true to myself, I must be true to him. That's what I'm going on. Someday I may send for you. Goodbye. Signed, Yvette. What does she mean by that last sentence?
Well, when I left, I gave her my address in the States, and she promised to let me know if she changed her mind, or if conditions changed.
You mean if a drunken husband died?
Yes, that is what I mean.
Well, how do you know he hasn't? You heard from her since?
Only the one time when she sent me the picture I showed you. I received a letter from her in Cape Town a year ago. It had been forwarded from the States. Now, she said that her husband disappeared soon after I left. No one knew where he had gone, but the rumor was he set out on my trail for vengeance. I'm sorry that he did not find me.
Where is she now?
Living with her parents in New York. She wrote to say she'd wait a year longer. If he did not return to her by then, she would become legally free of him and would send for me. Well, here is it. I received no word.
Cheer up. I got a surprise for you. Old Pete dropped it off from Lawson before you returned. I forgot all about it. I opened it by mistake. I thought it had something to do with the mine.
Oh! Oh, it's too good to be true. Tell me I'm not dreaming.
Congratulations.
Oh. Never mind, old pal. I won't be gone long. Hey, when I come back, I'll bring her with me.
I'll be all right. You better stay east. We'll need somebody there for when the work really starts.
When can I get a train?
So I found him. After all this time, and I can't even hate him. What strange tricks fate plays with us. When he told me his name that first day, of course I noticed it was the same as the man I was looking for. He seemed like such a boy to me. And my heart went out to him so strongly that I never once for an instant harbored the idea that he could be the John Sloan I was after. Of course, he never knew my right name. Wonder what he would say if he knew. I had half a mind to tell him. Nah. What's the use? Why should I mar his happiness? In this affair, I alone am to blame, and I must pay. As I listened to his story this evening, until no doubt remained that he was the John Sloan I had sworn to kill, my hand reached for my gun, and all the old hatred flared in my heart. And then I remembered his face, as he looked that day in the Transvaal, bent over me, saving my life at the risk of his own. I could almost hear his words. It's all right, old pal. You're all right. My hand left my gun. Hatred died out forever. I could not do it. If you ride hard and start right away, you can get to Lawson in time for the Limited at 3 a.m.
Bye, old pal. sorry to leave you this way, but I've waited so long for this. You understand, don't you?
Yes. Goodbye. And God bless you both. Goodbye. What a fool I've been. She was true to me in spite of what I was. And God bless him for telling me so. God grant that they may both be happy. The only two beings I have ever loved. And I must keep wandering on. I cannot be the ghost at their feast. Greater love hath no man than this, that he giveth his wife for his friend.
No, that's not how I play it.
I just said it, did you not hear me?
You added that last line. I didn't write it.
True lad. There's hope for your powers of observation yet.
Your point being?
If you're going to be a playwright, love your words. But don't fall in love with your words. When you start, someone else will finish. Theatre ultimately needs its storytellers, the actor. Without the actor, you have words on a page, and your art will be as thin as the sheet of paper it's written on. The magic of theatre lies in the performance. As a playwright, you'll create a map. But don't think you can get anywhere without an actor to follow it, embellish it, improve it, give it the heart it needs to succeed. As a playwright, it'll all start with you. But the actor will always have the last say.